Okay.
So I'm welcoming Lily this week. Now, let me introduce her first as Lily, because I do believe that we are ourselves first. Lily is also a mum, but is Lily first? Just like there's Jennifer first, then there was mum. And then I know Lily quite well. So she's a founder of a healing centre, the Holistic Healing Haven, which I was fortunate to actually participate in the original version, and has also had multiple businesses, so cafes, and I'm going to let Lily introduce herself in a moment, but and we're going to talk about lots of fun stuff, woo stuff, spiritual stuff, what she's doing as well, and have a bit of a soul chat. So I'm going to let you do a better version of introducing yourself. So go ahead, Lily.
Okay, so hello and thank you for having me. It's been a while I've spoken to you, Jennifer. Look, my journey, I guess, started, 15, 20 years ago nearly. I actually thought there was something wrong with me because I honestly, because nobody I knew in my circle had these feelings or thoughts. I would see things and then I'm thinking, how come nobody saw that? So I don't know, I just end up keeping very quiet and reserved. So I kept a lot to myself. And we moved to Hervey Bay and I had a bit of time. My son at the time was only 3. So once we settled in the house, he went to childcare or daycare, whatever you call it back then. I'm out of touch with that now because they're all adult grown, I was just meditating as I do every morning, looking out at the beach because we had a beautiful home. It was very cozy. And there was one particular morning where I was meditating and it felt a bit different, and it just actually felt like it was actually quite hollow, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm off or something, Anyway, I tried again, and then something out of the blue, this is what freaked me out, something out of the blue hit me over the head, like it was a physical feeling. And I turned around, there was nothing there. And I thought, oh God, that was very, very surreal, okay. So I took a deep breath and I did it again. It hit me harder. This physical thing hit me harder. I actually had tears in my eyes because I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to explain this to my husband? He's going to call someone. They're going to put me in a white jacket. I'm going to never see him in my family. It was horrible. I really thought, I can't tell anyone this. So I did it. Anyway, as this voice, it hit me and it said, open a healing centre. That's it. And I'm just turning around. I actually screamed. There was no one home. I just said, who are you? What do you want? Like, I got scared because I've never, ever in my life had an experience on a physical. So I think that was something that really woke me up. And I had tears, and I'm talking to space, basically, saying, I don't even know what a healing centre is. I've never even walked into a healing centre. I've only known my own spiritual practices by meditating, being in my own environment and space. So my journey started from there, and it took me 3 weeks to tell my husband what had happened. And all he said, he's a fish and chip shop operator, so he wasn't really understanding my world, but very supportive, as he has been.
Yeah.
And all he said to me was, do you know what you have to do? And I said, I think so. And he goes to me, okay, babe, do it. He goes, well, what are you going to do? And I just said, I think I have to look for some space. So, he goes, okay. He was quite, I don't know, he was a little bit, it seemed quite skeptic, but he wanted to keep me happy, basically. And you know what? I guess that journey from there on, he supported me regardless. But the whole setup and start up to the Holistic Healing Haven was crazy because I found this space, and it had 3 rooms. And then I said to the agent at the time, I said, listen, I only need 1 room. And he looked at me. He goes, well, look, There's 3 rooms. It was cheap. And I thought, you know what, doesn't matter. I'll use it for storage. I've always got stuff at home that I can always close up some offices. Anyway, and basically he gives me the agent, what do you want to do with this space? Oh, God. And I said, I think it's a healing space. And he looked at me, he goes, what do you mean you think? It is. And I said, yeah, it's a healing. It's a healing energy place. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. This is how blasé. And anyway, we got the keys. We did the lease. And that night I had a key to this empty space. And my husband said, now what? I said, well, I guess we need to celebrate this event. So we went out to Thai. And as we were going to Thai, we sat in our seat. I was with my son at the time and my husband. And Kath, she's a clairvoyant. I hadn't seen her for ages. She was sitting at the restaurant. She hadn't been out for ages. So she was meeting a friend. Anyway, and she looked at her, she said, hi, Lily, how you going? She said, oh, what are you doing here? I said, I think I'm opening a healing centre. She said, that's fantastic. And I'll go, yeah, I think so. And she said to me, is there any room? I said, what do you mean? She says, how many rooms are in this place? I said, there's 3. She says, I'm actually got some free time tomorrow. Could I come and have a look with you? And I went, yes. I didn't even know what we were doing with this key. And as we spoke, she goes, oh, look, there's Michelle at the time. She asked me, have you met Michelle? I said, no. She says, oh, poor thing. She's just a year ago lost her husband to a major car accident. I went, oh, that's horrible. She says, do you mind if I just say hello? I said, no, go. And she introduced me to Michelle. And Michelle was just saying, oh, Kath, it's been really tough. I've been working from home. I'm a massage remedial, and she does a lot of spiritual work too. And for a joke, she actually just said, I'm sick of working from home. I need to find some space, just like that. And Kath looked at me, and I looked at her, and it just happened. She just said, come with.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even know we were going to Thai that night. I didn't even know what to do with this key. I did not know. And that's how Holistic Healing Haven was formed, just like that.
So I'll just, right there, what you've just said. Okay, so here's the thing. Now, and then now I know things about you, but I'm going to let you explain it to people.
Yep, sure.
So okay, you listened and then you took the action, but you stepped into, now you correct me if I'm wrong here, you stepped into the unknown. And this is where a lot of people hold back, because they want it all done, they want it all lined up. And yes, that's nice, sometimes it works like that, but I just want you to talk a little bit about, because what you've hit on there is massive for a lot of people. They don't step up because they're constantly waiting for everything to be right or perfect, or they're worried about the unknown. So how do you sit within yourself, or what do you think you did? Are you just someone who just goes, oh, what the hell, it's fun? Or like, how do you work within yourself?
Okay. So with me, I've always come from a family that we didn't have a lot. We had to do everything for ourselves. So I know how hard it is. Even from weddings, we paid for our own wedding. Like, my parents didn't have a lot of money. They were in very low class. We had everything with the love, support, family unit. That was all beautiful. But materialistic things and money, there was none of that. So from day dot, we were just taught to work hard and achieve results. If you want something in life, you need to go for it. That's all I've ever known. Yeah. That is all I've known. So when you have these type of surreal experiences, I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was crying, talking to nothing. And I was scared how my friends would talk. And, I reserved, and I sat back and just shut my mouth. And you know me, normally I'm very quite verbal and forward. From that day on, I just started to become myself. But I was not scared. I love the unknown. Yeah. Because you know what? What's the worst that could happen?
That's right.
It doesn't work. I'm not scared of failure. I think it's because I've been at the bottom and I can get myself up.
Yeah.
And you know what? We don't have to have too much. But you know what? If, when you get to a certain level in life and you like this feeling and you know that, you know what, if I work that a little bit harder, I can get that. or if I want something really bad, I'm going to go for it. So for me, it's been this ladder, and I won't stop because I love the challenge now. So
Yeah.
I honestly, I could have just forgotten about that voice. It was too real. When it hit me physically, it hurt. So I really believe that universe have had my back because of the way I was brought up, and I've always been humble with things, and I really believe they gave me that nudge on that physical level to say, you know what, all this voice kept saying was have faith and listen to us. You've got the rest. We're going to guide you. Like, I've never ever in my life have come across any type of experience like that. It was just something that sometimes I can't even, now I'll say the story, but before I couldn't even say it because there are a lot of judgmental people out there, and they could be your best friends, they could be your family. So I tend to just do what I do, and I always downplayed it all. People would laugh at me when I opened the doors of that healing center, and they looked at me and said, what are you actually doing? I said, it's a healing place. And they looked at me and said, we'll give you 2 months and you'll be like everybody else, a failure. They would say this to my face. They would say it behind my back. And all I could do was, you know what, I'm pretty tough. I just went, oh, well, we'll see, And there were a lot of business people. And I'm not going to mention names, of course, because it's not who I'm about. But these businesses have actually come up to me physically, and I can count 3 very vividly. They've all gone broke, and they're in big businesses. And I'm, like I said, I'm not going to, it's not about names. I just wish people love, light, and let them be. And you know what? Yeah. If they have that negative feedback to me, I won't accept it.
Well, that's just activating. I say to people, it's just activating the absence of what they haven't got. So we're not doing anything in their face, but everyone is a mirror. And if something's being activated, it's because of it activates their lack, and that's what annoys them. It's not anything anyone else is doing. It's just activates their failure, if you want to call it that. But as you and I look at it quite different, failure is actually just a way for growth. I interviewed a gentleman a couple of weeks ago, Michael, and he said something quite profound, and it's something I've always known and felt, but the way he said it, I was like, yes. And I just want to know how you feel about this. So people tend to think that when they set up a business or when they want to achieve a goal of any kind, it's not necessarily the goal or the end result. It's the person you become because of the journey. How do you feel about that?
Oh, look, for me, I know I was nudged to go down this road, because now, as we speak, Holistic Healing Haven is not just that little rental space now. It's a building. And I know we have helped thousands of people. And it's been a collective thing. So we've got beautiful therapists, practitioners that have come. It's like a draw card, and it's for them also to grow. So to me, it's made my heart sing. I'm like, so I love it, because it was all developed by listening and having faith in something. So if I did not do that, how many little practitioners, how many businesses, how much growth and people that we have supported. I'd like to just go behind the scenes and someone just out of the blue say, how have you been affected or by Holistic Healing Haven? What does that mean to you? One day, I may do that, because I'll tell you now, it's just been positive, and I love that. And I feel like now maybe my journey or my purpose has been accomplished, because I'm in Sydney and I've got Tracy looking after the place. It's just been so beautiful that I feel it had its purpose, and it's had to do what it had to do. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of everyone that has been part of it. You were our first meditation lady, and I wasn't going to have it any other way, because I loved starting those humble, were they the Wednesday nights we did? The Station, yeah. It was beautiful. And I loved how it just started off in that little room to you, if you see it now, you know, and that's growth. That's organically grown by listening, by that love, that community. Yeah, sometimes I don't even have words. It's just so beautiful.
So before we talk about what you're doing now at home, I just want to go to a bit of a sad story where you recently divorced from Kiana.
Sorry, say that again.
I say you recently divorced from Kiana.
She hacked my phone.
I thought that was hysterical. I'm like, I need to put that on my phone.
Oh my God. I looked at it. She was, Mum, can I just have your phone? I just want to put my face on a photo. I said, sure. I trusted her. So apparently she's hacked my phone. Oh my God, she's cheeky.
So
she's
what people can understand is when I was just going over your bio again, just to really get into the specifics, I'm scrolling down.
I hope she hasn't changed anything else.
And it's got relationships. And it says recently divorced from Kiana, which is her daughter. I thought that was gold. I thought that was hysterical.
That's a typical Kiana thing. Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. I love it. Actually, before we go to what you're doing, I just want to touch a little bit on, so what's a message you can give to people for success? Meaning, like, what is true success? And because you're someone I've always noticed that, you know, you're quite happy in life. You just find happiness. So I want you to talk a little bit about, you know, what the true meaning of life is in that way, what it means to you.
Okay. So for me, I in my mind and my vocab within myself, I believe that there's no room for failure. As in, if you have a passion for something, if your passion is that wild and you want to do something so badly, you do it. There should be no barricades. And if there was, you've got to jump over them. It's okay. You know, and if you do fall, oh well, you get scratched, bruised, it goes away. And you learn from that. Don't jump as high, perhaps. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, I've always had a passion of something. And if I'm really passionate or I have a beautiful hobby that I love, I always look, how could I do this to become a career or a job? Because I love it so much. That's what I've done. And that is it. So like, again, when we left school very young, very strict upbringings, we were told what to do because it was just the old Sicilian upbringing. So I had to leave year 10, go to tech at the time, which is TAFE, and then you get a job as a secretary. So that's what was embedded, and I had to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to become a policewoman. Back then, you had to be tall. So that wiped out. I wanted to do something where I could help. I always wanted to be an air hostess, believe it or not. I couldn't because I was too short. I'm only 5'1", okay? Yeah. So at the end of the day, there was a lot of things that I wanted to do and I couldn't. So I just resulted, okay, let's go there and just become a secretary. You know, I loved cooking. I believe now if I continued and pursued my dreams, I would have been some type of international chef traveling the world, and that's what I would have loved. I wasn't allowed to do night work because women back then, girls did not work at night. So, you know, I wasn't rebellious, so I just always listened to my parents and lived in that little bubble. One day you'll grow up and you'll get married, and that's what happens. That was like what you did. You know, if I could reverse it, well, you know, there'd be very different conversations. But it isn't. It is what it is. I understand why the parents acted like that, being migrants, you know, new migrants into the country. I get that. But for me, it's go for something. If you have that burning desire and passion, you just need to go for it. That's it. That's all I've done. When I was able to, my life pretty much started after I got married because I had a bit more freedom. Stupid as that sounds. Yeah. You know, my husband at the time was young like me, and we both had dreams and passions. So we both sort of grew together and built our dreams of what we wanted, but we had that good support together.
Yeah.
You know, we had each other's back. Yeah.
So I love that, what you're saying there. That's lovely. I just want to go a little deeper and ask you about what, now some people do rituals, and rituals can be anything. But what do you think keeps you in alignment? Because you seem to be in alignment a lot. And what I mean by alignment is like you're aligned with yourself, you're happy. What do you think, like your positive attitude or whatever it is, what do you think when it comes down to it, you can share with people about how to remain positive, or how do you find your alignment all the time?
Okay, for me, my happy place is always near the water, near the beach, nature. I still walk in my backyard or in a forest, or if I'm at the beach, I'm in this awe. I look, I focus. So if I'm at the beach, for example, I will look at the waves, how they keep crashing, and every wave is so different, and every second, that movement of that water, it's always different. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is nature at its best. That gets this burning desire and rage within me that I just think, this is unreal. How can nature be that spectacular? And then I get into this zone that I just think, oh my God. And I believe meditation can be in all different forms. It could be walking, it could be just, you know, some people like to close their eyes and get the incense going, and that's perfect too, because I do that. But an activated alignment for me is the ocean. That's just me personally. So when I focus on nature, for example, even lying down in a park and you see a tree, it's just like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. I've never really looked at it like that. Yeah. And every tree is different. You know, everything has its own little perfectness or suchness about it. It's all different. And when you start focusing on that, it's never ending. You could look at a stone, you could look at a crystal and look at it, go, oh my God, there's nothing like it again. No two things are ever alike. Even identical twins, there's always something different. You know, I think I get into it that deeply that I get lost within myself, and I love it. I'm always happy because it's beautiful. We live in just an amazing place here, this place called Earth. If you really want to get into it, it can be so beautiful if you really focus on the good. You know, I could sit in a corner in a dark spot and think about all the bad things in my life, or the bad things. What's going to happen? I'm going to get more depressed. So you've got to change it up. And, you know, this is where you have got to be within yourself smarter and just say, hey, I've got this. And I live life to the minute, because tomorrow may never come. You know, things can happen in life that are sometimes not in our, you know, we can't help some things in life, you know, things could just happen. So I live my best every day like it's my last. So that's why I guess I'm happy, and I'm quite vibrant, you know. But yeah, I don't know. The ocean for me is really, I go into a really deep.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a feeling. Yeah.
It's a feeling. Yeah. And I guess once you find that feeling, if there's something you love, go and research it perhaps. You know, if someone really loves rock climbing, go and sit on some rocks, have a look. You know, some people love trees. Go into more little bushwalks.
The beach really, what I'm hearing is the beach really resets you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's like it's a constant resetting.
Yeah.
The waves. And, you know, even if it's a lake of some sort and you throw some rocks into it and you've got that beautiful ripples, it's always different. No ripple is ever the same. No movement of water, that you can't. You know, it's always different. So I don't get sick of things like that. Yeah. You know, you might see fish jumping out of the water one day. You might see a dolphin one day. And it's like it's always different.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, that excites me. Yeah. And aligns me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about now where you are now in your space, in your home, and just because I've actually had a session with you many years ago, and it's probably quite different now. So from my awareness, she was doing Reiki, but so much more. So can you just talk a little bit about like what you're doing now, like in a session, and do you still use crystals, and what
Yeah.
else are you doing?
Okay, so I guess over the time, my healing sessions have progressed, and I've added more to it. So, you know, I'll use singing. I don't know if you can see, I've got the bowls here as well. So I use my singing bowls. I will place crystals on our chakras. I've even got the beautiful Koshi chimes, which are made from the south of France. They are stunning. I'll show you.
Show us.
I'll just. So there's earth, wind, fire, and these are just beautiful. So I will circle the body around these.
That's pretty.
Oh, they're beautiful. They're just a real special piece. So I call in my angels, my ascended masters. That's who I heavily work with. And it doesn't matter what religion my client will be from. I'll actually ask them, you know, what is their God, or what essence do they believe in, or for them. And basically, you know, it's all really one. We all, it's all universal. Okay, it's just who you maybe who you really resonate with.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I heavily work a lot with the angelic realm, especially Archangel Michael and Raphael. But you know, there's a lot of, I don't know, I have a lot of Buddhist things around me. I don't know. I'm actually quite open to it, and I will never rule it out because I love it, and that excites me because I learn every day. And my clients at the time, whatever comes through, because I channel, I will channel my guides and my universal, you know, energy, and whatever comes through onto my client, if there is a message through, I will pass that on to them. It may mean nothing to me, but to that client, for some reason, it does. and that's okay. And that's what I'm like, an interpreter, you could say, you know.
Yeah.
I'm the middleman, you know.
Yeah.
So basically, you could say that I have that nice, beautiful gift, and I'm very grateful that I can relay a message that they might not been able to see. You know, some days they might not know until the next day, and then they'll ring me and say, Lily, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because they go into a state of like, they're up here, they're floaty. When they come out of my session, they're just like, Lily, I feel so airy, and you know, so that's when I tell them to ground themselves and that. But it just, even their face changes because they've come in quite a bit tense or the unknown, and I just go with it, just tell them to go. And then their face, when they leave, tends to just soften up, and there's this beautiful little glow, and that warms me because I think, yes, you know.
So you're helping them shift their energy, shifting their vibration, making them come back to more peace.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, if I've done that, it's like it ticks a box for them, for me, and maybe them saying hallelujah, they finally got it. You know, it's just a really beautiful it's about shifting so they can move on to their next thing, or a bit of growth for them, or you know, they're stuck in a place that they don't know, and they just need that little shift. So it's like a little fine tune, you know.
And it's relaxing, and people underestimate powerful relaxation. Like the moment you even lie down, you start relaxing straight away. That opens you to your healing. So, you know, just even relaxation, it's extremely powerful to your own alignment.
Absolutely. Oh, look, people will come in my room, they'll sit here for 5 minutes if I have a chat, and they're like, oh, I like this. So it's an instant little, you know, I said, and that's what it's all about. You know, every house I'll go to, I'll always have my little healing cave or my little healing room. And even when I need time out, if I have to, I'll just come in here.
Yeah.
Or if my kids know if they need or they're feeling funny, they can just come in here and sit here. I say to them, don't touch too much stuff. And they're like, really? Okay. Only because it's more of a respect thing. So they know that this can be their sacred, safe space, safe space if they need to. And again, that's beautiful because, you know, sometimes they don't want to tell mum that they've gone in their healing because it's not cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why my daughter divorced me, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's just teenagers all round, you know.
Yeah, right.
But what they don't realise is we actually want to divorce them.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah,
so
it's been said now.
yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, we've just got some time still. Just want to ask you a
Yep.
little bit about just getting to also, you know, what the soul means to you. So for some people, the word soul, God, goddess, source, whatever it is, but what does the soul, what does it mean to you, the word soul,
Okay.
to have a soul?
All right. So for me, everyone has a soul. You know, that saying when someone says, oh, they're a lost soul. I don't believe it's lost. I believe it's been they've come across a time in their life that perhaps trauma. Okay. So say some trauma has hit. So when trauma hits, you go into that mode of like cold, angry, you hate the world. And sometimes people do bad things or they say horrible things. And then you've got the other people on the outside saying, well, they're a lost soul, they're a lost cause.
Yeah.
I don't believe it is. I think it's been something's happened.
Yeah.
And that trauma has blocked. It's a blockage.
I agree.
But everyone has that view. So when they change, that view, I believe the soul to me is all about the warmth and the connection to yourself.
Yes,
okay.
That's
When
correct.
you've got that,
I agree.
yeah. So a soul, when you're in a happy place, it's beautiful. And you know, you can tell we all shine when we're all in that happy place. If something bad happens or someone's triggered someone, that's when you have that disconnection from your soul.
Yes.
And then bad things happen. So there's like that, it's a shield, you know, and I think, I know you can get into it quite deeply, but I believe when you're in that happy place, then you have then got that beautiful connection to yourself, and that's the soul, you know.
Perfect.
And the soul, I don't know. I think the soul, we live in it's in the physical because we're getting that feeling, and then spirit is up here, you know, up in the other world. You know. But I think soul, everyone has one. Everything has a soul, even a tree, a rock. Everything identifies. You know what I mean? I think, I don't know really how to explain it too much, but
well, it's what it means to you, but I resonate a lot with what you're saying, because everyone has a different perception and view, and that's how we're meant to be. We're not meant to be the same. We're not meant to perceive the same.
No. And everyone has different. Yeah, everyone has different days and bad, but I do believe the people that, you know, I do believe people that have been hurt in life or are continuously in a bad place, if we could chisel away or barricade and soften that, and so, you know, there's a bit more light to them, I believe then they will be in a happy place because they're going to have a connection with their soul back.
So essentially, and I see this with what all healers and teachers, whatever you want to call people, coaches are doing, is that's what I see. We're just helping people reconnect more to who they are. And when you're an objective, you can see what they can't see. You can feel what they can't feel because they're so in it. So that's basically what you're doing. You're helping people really connect more to themselves, have a better relationship with themselves.
Yeah, and you know, and I sometimes I see a lot of people out there, even when I'm shopping or talking, and someone will come across, you just see things, you know, and I know you feel this too. It's just sometimes even the shopping centre, how there's so many angry people just with a response, or you can see it on their face. And I just feel like grabbing them one day and just saying, hey, it's not that bad. you know, but we can't with everyone. But there's a lot of angry souls out there.
Yeah.
And to me, I guess, you know, if I ever do I always pray for people like that, just to soften it and let them even get a glimpse of what can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they're ready, they will do something about it, you know, because I'll just want to I always do like a radius when I'm trying to meditate or something. I just go 1,000 kilometers around me and beyond. And so if anyone needs healing prayers or anyone needs anything, let that, do you know what I mean? We have a radius and let it just continue.
Yeah.
I just want to send that out.
So before we run out of time, I remember one thing I loved what you did. I don't know if you still do it, but you did a wonderful healing and you got information and you put crystals on me as well and you did some Reiki, but you also squeezed my body in a lovely, loving way. And I feel like your energy is like that feminine, that divine feminine. People are coming to receive, feeling nurtured and loved.
Nurtured, yeah.
And
I'll always ask. And I'll always ask, especially now, today, I'm like, am I allowed to touch you?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're living in a crazy world at the moment. But for me, I get more benefit if I'm just touching, you know, and I'm touching like around like your the outside of your body, just on the outside like this, slowly. And, you know, sometimes people say there was so much warmth. Or it felt so strong, and it wasn't. It was just quite gentle. But when the client is in that relaxed mode, you know, I just feel touch is quite a big thing for a healer. I like doing placing of hands because for me, I get more out of that because I want to see what I get from them too. A healing is also about both of us because I want the best for my client. I want them to come out of my room and feel, my God, I thank you, or I feel so much better. That's it. That's all I want to hear, you know. And then I feel like, okay,
So before we get cut off or finish, I want you to tell people quickly where they can find you. We've got 1 minute.
Well, I've moved to Castle Hill in Sydney now. So so my healing sessions will last probably a good hour and a half. Because we
can find you on Instagram, Facebook.
Well, it's funny because I've got a lot of personal stuff on my Instagram, as you probably know. I'm just more fun loving. I don't just do my work mode. But if anyone really needs to get hold of me, I believe the universe will bring them to me.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone knows me as Lily or Holistic Healing Haven. They can always find me, I believe. And if they really need to, I mean, I'm happy for you to put a link on your page if you need to. Just my name and phone number, and I will sort them out, hopefully.
Yeah, you send me the link. Well, I'm just going to wrap it up before we get cut off. Thank you so much. That was so fun. I really loved it.